What pisses you off the most while driving? Story 1. When the person in the front seat is giving me directions and isn't paying attention. Oh wait, make that turn that you just missed 5 seconds ago. Pay the fudge attention if you're giving directions. Use words. Or, when traffic is dead enough that I can look, points. Which direction are you pointing in? There's a branching turn with 2 ways to turn that direction in. Look where I'm pointing. You have a different angle on your pointing than I do. That looks utterly uninformative. Go right then. Which one? Story 2. My biggest pet peeve on the road, by far, is people who zip out of a side street onto a main road at 50 miles an hour to cut me off, then immediately go 10 miles an hour. If you can't be going full speed by the time I reach the point you're at, you can't turn yet. It's as simple as that. Story 3. Passengers who fudge around with the music controls without being invited to do so. Passengers who fudge around with the GPS navigation system without being invited to do so. Passengers who fudge around in the glove compartment without being invited to do so. Passengers who demand eye contact from the driver during conversations. Passengers who insist on eating or drinking in the vehicle, yet insist that they don't need the napkin I'm pressing into their hands. Passengers who never stop speaking and who never stop touching things. Ugh. Just passengers. Strangers in other cars get the benefit of the doubt. They're having a bad day, they didn't see that the light changed, etc. It's my jerk loved ones that make driving absolutely unbearable. Answer. So last year I was driving to school, and as I was approaching a traffic light just before the school, I see someone walking down the road. As I get closer, I realize it was one of my teachers, so I drive past him and stop at the light. Next thing I know, he's outside my car and he tugs on the handle. It was locked, so I unlock it. He tries again, opens the door, buckles the seatbelt, then turns to me and asks if I could give him a ride to school. It wasn't a long ride, but possibly the most awkward one of my life. Story 4. When people try to be nice and wave me to go first at a turn or intersection, if you have the right of way, fudge go. You're not being nice, you're being unsafe. There's a reason we have fudge traffic rules. One time some lady actually stopped on a green light and waved me to turn left. But there was 2 lanes and obviously the other lane wasn't going to stop, so she was basically just trying to wave me into a fudge car crash. How can you be a driver and not understand that? Story 5. The seatbelt locking up mid-pull. Geez. Then you have to play with it a few more times. Already impatient at this point, you try to give up as little of the belt as possible, which just further exacerbates the problem until you calm down, let the whole thing reel back in. Then you pull back over you and snap it in forcefully, kind of like a "that's what I thought" meanie to your car seatbelt. That's just me though. Story 6. When drivers speed up and pass you just to be stopped at the same red light that's literally 200 feet ahead of us. I totally understand if you need to get ahead of me so you can turn, but you're speeding up to be at the same red light that I'll be at in a few seconds. Story 7. Without a doubt, since I got my license 13 years ago, people in a right turn lane that includes a fudge merge lane that stop and wait for a spot to open up. That's the point of a merge lane, so you don't have to stop. Fudge, go. Story 8. Seeing a careless, inattentive, or reckless act, then seeing they are fudge texting while driving. One time I saw a lady on Loop 12 here in Dallas with a contraption strapping on her steering wheel with an iPad on it holding a cup of coffee in one hand, like a regular glass cup with a handle and no lid. In one hand, and a Pop-Tart in the other, using her knee to steer. I wanted to honk but didn't want her to panic and eliminate others around her. Herself would have been fine. That would have been a Darwin Award. But there were too many others around and we were going 70. Story 9. Bros in BMWs. With no exaggeration, I have never in my life seen a BMW driven in a civil manner. They are always driven by roid ragers in their 20s, who think they're the shoot because they leased a 3 Series. They just speed, race, tailgate, cut me off, and just generally be male body part. Source: I live in the NYNJ area. Story 10. I'm sitting happily in my truck, either at a stoplight or cruising along with traffic, and I'm jamming to my music or having a conversation with my passenger. Shoot pretty dope right now. And then the motherfucker shows up. Motorcyclist doing 10 no 15 mph faster than the flow of traffic. We're all already breaking the law, usually going 5-10 mph faster than the posted limit. And it's not the obnoxious lane splitting that pisses me off. He's a dumb sweat-stained cuntrag all ready for it. It's the loud, all-encompassing, earth-shattering, deafening brrrr. Brrrgy. Beeper. Water. Artra Ike EEC. They're stupid fudge motorcycles making all that goddamn noise as they dump the fudge clutch and blow past everyone, guaranteeing tinnitus for everyone within a fudge quarter mile. That pisses me off. If you do this, eat a fistful of bees, you cock knocker. Story 11. When someone gets in front of you, drives too slow, and then tries to brake check you all while not being in the far right lane's low lane. Oh, and when someone speeds up to merge right on top of you and then slows down to avoid hitting the car in front of them. Story 12. I have sensitive eyes and sometimes people with special lights literally blind me. I'll have to stare at the line on the side of the road like they taught me in driver's ed, but sometimes that won't help. Story 13. As the driver on the highway, don't come to a full stop in the slow lane just to force your car into the off-ramp. You're holding up traffic, and you're going to get someone eliminate like that. As the driver in city roads, turn signals are a thing. You think you're going to try and use the road next to the on-ramp to beat traffic? Hell no, I am not letting you in. Story 14. When I'm in the left lane behind a car waiting to make a left turn because they're waiting on traffic to clear, so I scope out the traffic in the right lane, put my right turn signal on, and wait for when it's clear so I can go around the guy in front of me to the right. Nope. Fudge doucher behind me jumps to the right, cutting me off without his turn signal, after seeing me having my turn signal on the whole time. Then they wonder why I am upset with them. Then you have the dueling left turns in the middle of an artery. Each dude is trying to make a left turn, clogs up traffic for blocks behind them, and subsequently can't see traffic in the oncoming right lane. So, inevitably, one of them will decide it's time to be a cowboy and floor it hoping for the best when I'm a car length behind the intersection. I've had one wreck like this and one near miss. The rolling roadblocks. I really dislike when people do that. Likewise, I dislike when someone decides they need to drive next to me. That shit's dangerous. You don't know when I'll need to swerve, or if perchance I get hit by another vehicle, or even if I just need to fudge change lanes, and you've put yourself in the perfect place to get hit. Why? Because you're too fudge lazy to pay attention to the road. You want to pace yourself based on traffic around you while you text on your phone. And finally, when I'm waiting to exit a shopping center and there are 2 turn lanes, I pull up to the road to look both ways, and Susie stupid bitch in her fudge Chevrolet school bus decides that she's more important since she's turning the other direction and pulls ahead of me, blocking my view of the oncoming traffic, even though I've waited 3 minutes for traffic to clear. I swear, people act like driving is their God-given constitutional right, and it's not yours, only theirs. And if you don't like how they're being completely discourteous or just plain breaking the fudge law, then What the fudge are you gonna do about it? Get out of the fucking car, brah. Story 15. Lack of awareness. I am totally fine with people breaking some traffic laws, but the scariest thing to me is when people don't realize what is going on around them. This manifests itself in too many ways to list, but it really comes down to the other driver's mindset. Basically, I would rather have someone knowingly break the law and be careful about it than them being ignorant. Story 16. Shoot traffic lights. I've been waiting here seriously this entire song. No cars have come through, but now that you finally change, all the cars come and have to wait for me. How inefficient is that? Seriously. Story 17. Other drivers who are indecisive. If you're going to turn or change lanes, just fudge do it. If you miss your exit, make plans to turn around. Don't dart across 4 lanes without looking just because you're 20 feet from passing the exit. Story 18. When people tailgate me about 3 feet from my bumper at 65 mph in the right-hand lane, when the fudge fast lane is clear and they could easily pass me instead. Listen, you sack a shoot. Either pass on the left or back the fudge up. It's not my fault your stupid jerk didn't leave on time to get to where it is you're going. And if you think I'm going to speed up and tailgate the guy ahead of me so that you can travel 2 mph faster, then you're a special kind of ignorant shitbrick. Story 19. When someone cuts me off by turning in front of me, I have to slam on my brakes. And what's the most irritating is when they do this, and there is no one behind me. Why the fudge couldn't your slow jerk have waited for me to pass? Story 20. It's not any driver's fault, but when the sun is glaring off the back window of the car in front of me, and no matter which lane I change into, the sun is still blasting into my eyes. Even with sunglasses on, it's still bright as fudge. I just drive and hope the road curves enough that the sun doesn't reflect anymore. Story 21. People who cannot understand how to enter exit turn. Entering a 75 mph portion of I-40? Better do it at 45 mph. For safety. Exiting that same portion of the interstate? Well, obviously you have to slow down to 50 mph half a mile before the exit, or take the exit at 80. Everyone on the feeder can dodge you. The worst, though, turning right from the right lane directly into the left lane. Story 22. When the person in front of you clearly can see you approaching behind them in the left lane in the US and doesn't take 5s to get into the slow lane, let you pass, then get back into the left lane to continue to drive slowly. Story 23. A short anecdote to lessen the road rage. So, I'm in new city, meeting new people, and am being driven by a new friend to a restaurant. On the way, another car is speeding past and cuts her off. Her response: the most concerned and kind-sounding careful I've ever heard. I still try to adopt her attitude while driving. It usually works. Story 24. When people who clearly do not have enough time to do so pull out in front of me, the person with the right of way should not have to brake for you to enter the roadway. Exception: someone waiting patiently to turn right out of a store mallets in busy traffic. I will let them out every single time. Story 25. Haven't seen this one yet, so when there's a warning that one of the lanes is closing ahead and selfish cunts stay in the lane to merge at the front of the line, I began blocking people in the closing lane so these cunts can't cut in line. Story 26. Sometimes I just want to drive without seeing someone else right next to me. Story 27. When people ignore the speed limit entirely, some people don't even see speed limit signs. I've been behind people who will go 50 mph in a 45, then it dips to 35, then up again to 55, and they never break that 50 mph speed. One time I was in the car with my sister who was driving, and she floored it to over 50 mph. I was like, you do know the speed limit is 35 here, right? Oops. Story 28. When driving stick and you're on a hill at a stoplight, those people that insist on being right behind you, please just give me a little bit more room. I know you don't know my car is stick, but please just get in the habit of giving the person in front of you a couple of feet just in case. Story 29. As a truck driver, let me fudge merge you assholes. When I put my signal on, everyone takes it as an invite to pick up their speed to get past me. Also signaling, going immediately from 45 to 15 and putting on your signal as you turn isn't how it's supposed to work. If I make a mistake, you die, not me. Story 30. If I am exiting the highway onto the access road, I cannot stand it when people refuse to yield. At my exit, there are 2 fudge yield signs, but they refuse to let me off the highway. I've had multiple close calls and it pisses me the fudge off. A goddamn tractor trailer almost plowed me over. Story 31. Ignoring the obvious one answer of other drivers, I'd have to say getting stuck at every light in my commute. Sure, it only means an extra 5 to 10 minutes, but it feels so wasteful. That and the complete inconsistency in which speed limits are enforced. This taps into other drivers tangentially, but rather than 25 is the speed limit, so that's what I go. There's a game of social tiddlywinks you have to play. Are there cops around? Is one behind me? Don't want a chance getting pulled over, so I'll go 5 below. Is 5 above the speed limit acceptable? 10? It depends. Story 32. People who don't plan ahead and know where they are going. Don't slow down in the leftmost lane of a 3-lane highway because you just saw your right turn coming up in 20 feet. Don't cut people off because you wanted to move up 3 cars before your turn. Just plan ahead and move into the needed lane much before that turn. Story 33. People who overuse their brakes and create traffic. Generally, if you're not following too closely, you can just lift your foot off the gas and you will slow down without making a whole line of cars behind you also use their brakes. Story 34. 2 things drive me crazy. One is when people drive with their high beams on all the time. And 2 is when people leave their turn signals on for long stretches on the highway. Are you fudging the head? How little attention do you have to pay to pull that chute off? Do people never check their speed or RPM? It's literally a bright blue light, the only blue light in most cars. Or it's a constant flashing going off right in your face. Those drivers just scare me because I know they are not paying attention to anything around them. Story 35. When someone thinks they're being courteous by waving you through an intersection when they have the right of way, they're just impeding traffic and possibly looking for some good old insurance fraud. Story 36. People who drive down de-restricted country roads at 30 mph should be put in prison. In my opinion, there's only one reason to do this: lack of confidence behind the wheel, and that's at least as dangerous as too much confidence. People like this cause accidents. In Drinkfekkersegirls Britain, anyone caught driving that far below the speed limit would be banned from driving. Edit. These people are usually the ones to maintain a constant, wrong speed no matter where they are. Country road, limit 60 mph. Better do 40. Coming into a village, limit 30 mph. Let's keep doing 40. Fudge these people and their horrid cars. They deserve every ounce of misery inflicted upon them by their Peugeot, Citroen Zara Picasso, or Hyundai Accent. It's always, always, always one of those 3. Story 37. Fuckers in Ford F-150 trucks. Just because your truck is huge does not mean you have to cut people off every 2 seconds or speed excessively. We get it. You're compensating for something. I know not everyone in an F-150 is like this, but a lot of them are. I'm sure there are a lot of nice people who drive F-150s. Story 38. If you're going 5 over the speed limit, get the fudge out of the left lane. On a similar note, if you use your fudge eye holes to see people trying to pass you and would clearly like to go faster, pull over and let them pass your slow jerk. They'll leave you behind and then you can pull right back into that lane and go however fast you please. Story 39. When people drift way over to the shoulder because they're too much of pussies to stay near the center line in fear of hitting another car, you're endangering cyclists and swerving. Stop. Also, if you're behind me, turn off your fudge high beams. Also, if you're in the oncoming lane, turn off your fudge high beams. Story 40. Tailgaters. Yeah, I'm sure that the fact that I'm obeying the speed limit pisses you off. I'm not breaking the law just because you can't go around me. I'm in the right lane because I know a whole bunch of assholes need to get to their destination 30 seconds faster. Story 41. I ride a motorcycle. No less than 24 hours ago, this lady slows down in the next lane. It was dark out, and I could see the glow of her enormous fudge phone from her lap. As I came to the side of her, she looked up from her lap and realized she was darn near changing lanes, so she puts her blinker on so she could feel less like a dumb fudge and nearly clips my front end. We were on a long straight road, so I hung back, grabbed some spare hardware, nuts, bolts, washers, out of my windshield bag and threw that chute right at her back window before getting off on my exit. I won't say if it broke or not, but she will have a reminder for a while to stay off her motherfucking goddamn piece of shit smartphone while she is driving. Story 42. Tailgaters. If you ride my jerk in traffic and I'm already driving 10 over, I am going to slow down, and if it's a 2-lane road, I'll get beside a car in the other lane and match his speed where you can't pass. Story 43. All you people driving cars and complaining about other drivers are minor league. The assholes next to you are magnified x10 if you're riding a motorcycle. Assholes don't see you because their primitive reptile brains are looking for a car, not a motorcycle. Not that they could be bothered to stop talking on their cell phones long enough to look anyway. Assholes always take your right of way because they're bigger and know you'll have to stop to avoid hitting them. Assholes become indignant when your one-passenger vehicle takes a parking space that should have been used by their almost always one-passenger vehicle. Seriously, you guys can't even begin to imagine what it's like if you've never ridden a bike. Story 44. When we are in bumper-to-bumper traffic and people use the faster left lane in order to pass, everyone's stuck in traffic, only to stop dead in the middle of the highway to try and get back to the right lanes and cut in front of others. Where I live, we have at the most 3 lanes. It's mostly just 2 for the highways, including I-5. So everyone gets stuck in traffic and everyone waits their turn, and here come this jerk blazing through the left HOV lane and then cut back into the right lane. Another thing people do here is speed as fast they can on an exit-only lane to pass everyone and then cut back into lane. It's dangerous because people assume you're exiting if you're blazing through an exit-only lane. Story 45. I'm of the opinion that worse than reckless drivers are scared drivers. I like in Chicago. Every day I see reckless behavior on my commute to the point that I know when people are going to pull male body part moves and am ready for it. I know when someone is going to cut me off or is going to use the turning lane to pull ahead of me instead of turn. It's those fuckers who stomp their brakes on the expressway when someone taps theirs, the people who drive at 55 in the far left lane, the fuckers who cause accidents because they are so scared they are completely unpredictable. Scared drivers cause more accidents than assholes, in my opinion. Story 46. Fudge tourists in my town. Crossing a bridge. Hey, let's dead stop with no warning to look at the fudge boats. Oh, hey, a sign that flashes lets fudge stop and read it. Always looking anywhere but the road. You will almost get hit 3 times a day. Story 47. People tailgating a lorry and parking tight behind it when I'm trying to unload or load up. Just because there doesn't appear to be anyone around the lorry doesn't mean I'll come back and put the ramp straight up to drive off. Parking too from the ramps is not helpful at all. Also, people eyeballing my car when I park it. I dislike that as it's so easy to steal. The key is fudge in it, and the starter button works without the lock being turned now. Story 48. Potholes, really. I know you guys in the US have it a bit rough in states like Michigan, but in some European countries we have shoot for roads. Doesn't really matter what kind of vehicle you drive, sooner or later you will be changing suspension parts. I also find it irritating to always have to swerve around massive holes, as sometimes I am forced to move into the opposite lane in order to dodge it, endangering both myself and the other drivers. Story 49. LA driver here. Nobody here abides by the rule that if you're going to drive fast, you go in the left lane, and if you're going to stay slow, you stay to the right. Everyone just picks the lane they want. Or they all drive to the left hoping to go fast and the right lane is just speeding by. Story 50. When there's a crap ton of traffic and no one will let others into traffic from the sides. Oh, you're on your way home from work. Sucks to be you. Like hell if I'm slowing down to let you in and lose those 2 seconds it took me to let you in. Fudge you, you selfish cunt. Let us in. Story 51. When there is only one lane in each direction and somebody is making a turn through oncoming traffic and proceed to block the whole lane so nobody can pass to their side. Also, people who don't pass a bus that has pulled over